Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised I wasn't asked why I'm convinced. Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block, on a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At InChain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts, basically ones that can run operating systems. That's basically all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com.
Right.
There we go, mate. Oh, off to the races at last. Right, how are we doing?
Yeah, all good. How are you?
Mate, yeah. You know, never a dull moment in crypto. Have you seen recently the this latest hack that has supposedly gone on at Qcoin?
I haven't really been across it, to be honest, but what is it? Just hot wallets not being secured, probably, or...
my reply to this was shitcoin is just starting to get the picture. Alex Saunders, who does Nuggets News in Australia, just said, Hatcher DAO just exit scam despite using Trust Swap. Fully audited smart lock trusted system. CEO Jeff Kirk-Dykes said they cannot prevent these types of things from happening. In that case, I don't understand the point of using a trusted, secure, third-party lockup system. This is absolute scams, mate. Absolute scams.
Yeah, I just think this is all so short-lived. I don't know why they're not just building on Bitcoin. So if it either build on Bitcoin or make another copy of the Bitcoin protocol, you know it scales, take the cap off and start building an application which can plug into that way of it working. So I just, all this other stuff, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, well, you know, actually, in terms of monetary theory, they can't actually build another platform to outcompete Bitcoin.
Like, in what way? What? Just because they can't take the name, or?
No, so it's monetary theory, right? So
right.
Have you all read or do you know about the concept of the paradox of the centralized starting point?
That it needs to be not within anyone's control.
Yeah, but how do you make it not within anyone's control when the central point of authority has that control?
Well, yeah, it needs to be spun up from a point that's not in control or not known.
Well, yeah, and do you know how? Well, it has to be diluted over time. So, do you know how Craig did that?
What, through the subsidy?
No. So we'll work this backwards, just so you've got an idea about this, right?
Yeah,
so let's say if Charlie Lee said, "Oh right, I've started Litecoin," and Vitalik said, "Oh yeah, I've started Ethereum," Like, they have not started anything that the American government or the Chinese government couldn't just simply replicate themselves. They were like, oh, you know, Charlie Lee started that, Vitalik started that. Yeah, we're the US government, we started this. You know, they're the Chinese government, they started that. You know, and if America says, oh, you know, we're gonna use this, China just simply won't use it. And if China says, oh, we've created that, you know, America will just simply say, well, we're not going to use this. So the question is, how can you get these two superpowers that are at loggerheads with each other to actually use the same network? And this is what Craig solved. So Craig started the network on the 3rd of January 2009, but he wrote the paper in English and released it to the Western world, but he gave himself a Japanese pseudonym. And that's how the starting point of this was the white paper. And that's now divided into two sections. Japan being literally the opposite side of the world, the land of the rising sun, comparative to the Western world. And also, Japan is technologically advanced, politically neutral, and highly developed. So therefore, like, it gave him, the author, being a Japanese author, as much credibility as possible. Plus the fact it meant that he could hide away, because you had the Japanese language barrier that's obviously not spoken by too many people, the density of the population, and the location being as far away from the Western world as possible. So basically, he had no controlling influence over the growth of the network. And
so basically, within the name, he chose the starting point.
Well, it's like this. So basically, it was absolutely essential that he used a pseudonym, right? Because he knew that he was going to have to step away from the network in order to let it grow without any influence or authority. So it's organic, right? But then I thought, well, there's still the issue, because he started the network himself. Like, Satoshi Nakamoto started the network on the 3rd of January. And I was just like, there's got to be more to this. And then I was just like, oh my God. He released the white paper on the 31st of October. So imagine somebody finding gold for the first time. Gold was already there, yeah? Now this meant that the white paper was already out there, like a digital commodity just waiting to be discovered. But because he wrote the white paper, it was his responsibility to provide a reasonable amount of time for everyone and anyone else to start the network themselves in order to give it credibility. So what he did is he basically wanted to give, because it was absolutely essential that he started under a pseudonym, he had to give himself the best chance of starting the network before anybody else had. So, and in law in the UK, a reasonable amount of time is considered 2 months. So if you want to give yourself 2 months and you want to give yourself the best chance of starting the network before anybody else does, which 2 months of the year are you going to do that in?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, the festive period.
Right,
people are distracted, and guess what date October 31st is?
All Hallows Eve.
Yeah, exactly. Another distraction. That's why he released it on Halloween.
How deep do you want to go into this bloke's mind?
No, I'm telling you, this is exactly why he did it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So he started it on Halloween because that was a distraction. So people are just like, oh, well, we're too busy with this at the moment. And then after that, because like the significance of it seemed less when everybody's too busy.
Who did he start it to though? Who did he release it to this mailing list?
Yeah, cryptographic mailing list. Yeah.
What, and they would have looked at the paper immediately and seen what it could be.
Well, the fact is that's where it was released, and that's the date that it was released. So because he released it, him being Satoshi Nakamoto, he was the one that was then responsible for providing a reasonable enough amount of time to give anyone and everyone an equal opportunity of starting the network.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where your credibility comes from, and no other network has got this. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and watch the full episode on Streamanity, free for 15 hours. Go to www.satoshi.tv. See the link in the description below.